See everybody who knows me, they know me as the insane gang. Again, my gang, 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 I'm my G to the A, M to the G, demon name, gang, gang, re. I'm a D to the A to the M to the E. I'm a gang, 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 gang. Hey. Oops, I logged into the wrong thing. What's up, Jamon? How you doing, man? Hope you're well. Hope you're feeling so swell. Hope you're grinding to a end. Hope you're repping it today. Yay, yay, yay. Oh, 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 wee. Oh, 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 wee. G to the A to the M to the A. Y'all know I am a dang gang freak. I don't know. I haven't actually played it today, so I don't know. Jews, you watch T's podcast over mine, so what fucking difference does it make, yo? You think I didn't know about it? Also, just to remind you, just so you know, if I watch T's podcast, your chat, the text in the chat come up in the history. So I saw you mention I left Terrell's Mega Man stream to come here. Don't tell him. Like that shit wasn't recorded. Also, it's on T's screen. It was on T's. So it's funny. So me supporting T outed you. So that's kind of funny. That's pretty funny, actually. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things. We're gonna talk about some E3 stuff, and probably talk about the Nintendo stuff because I feel like at this point, might as well address it. You weren't joking. You lying, dog. He got caught. That's what happened, bruh. I saw that motherfucker on the side. He was like, "I'm good, dog." I'm like, nah, motherfucker. You out here playing games. You out here sidestepping, misrepresenting. It's all right. I know who the favorite is. I understand. So, in terms of actual news, it's not like a lot. But like I said, the E3 thing will create an interesting conversation, and I just want to give my thoughts and opinions. I kind of explain why I don't have the same level as, like, I guess the word would be passion for this whole Nintendo Switch lack of output thing. And why it doesn't like bother me or doesn't like I'm not as, I guess I would say, I'm not as like not resilient. What's what I'm looking for? I'm not as aggressive about it, I guess. Oh, the coronavirus. Well, I would have said not really, other than people buying an insane amount of uh tissue and fucking various food and clothing items. But I did recently get a text from my job saying supposedly my last day of working is on Wednesday, although it's not like our area has the virus yet. Atlanta does, but I don't. But so there's a high chance. Hey guys, and the people are getting upset over a Nintendo draft. Didn't get the notification. It's all a fucking ploy by the government. They don't want you to experience any good conversation. That's what it is. It's all a fucking conspiracy. I guess I'll put this on Twitter too, actually. We live with another Manic episode. We live with another Manic episode. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's see if it posted correctly. If it didn't, okay, yeah, we're good. All right, we're Gucci. All right, let's do it. So, I'll let you guys pick. Do you want me to do the Nintendo stuff first? Or do you want me to talk about E3? It doesn't really matter. They're both going to get covered. And then, obviously, I'm going to answer questions in the thing. So let me pull up the questions so I have those. I don't think anything major has been asked. So let's see. Hey, what's up, Yuki? What's up, Static? So there's only 2 questions in the chat in the Discord. So if you want to ask me questions, go in the Discord and ask me questions. Um, otherwise, I'm just gonna go on forward with everything else. Let's see. Oh shit! Really? One of these is actually an interesting conversation. Everyone's been in the mood to play anime games. Let's talk about the Nintendo thing. So I think if you've been watching the Juices Loose podcast for like the last, what has it been, like 3-4 weeks? I want to say, I think it's been like over a month. We've been kind of in and out talking about the whole. Oh fuck me, that's my work phone, guys. God damn it. Let me mute my work phone. By the way, I'm not used to having a work phone, so I apologize in advance for that. So, like I said, Demon School. Oh, I know you're talking about Demon. Isn't that the Uruma anime, I believe? But anyways, so if you've been watching the Juice and Loose podcast over the last few weeks, you probably noticed that in and out of that podcast, we've been pretty consistently talking about um, Nintendo and the output of games, and then we're also talking about how long this generation is supposed to last. And to say that there's been some hate thrown in our direction for these comments would be an understatement. Although it doesn't seem to be towards everyone, it seems to be towards more of like, I think the main 2 people, maybe 3, but I want to say 2 people is that Juice and T have gotten a lot of like critique from everybody, and I think everyone understands where they're coming from in the terms of like talking about and having their issues with Nintendo. And I don't feel like they're wrong for having those opinions. I'm not as like aggressive or as some would say passionate about it. Particularly, and I'm gonna go straight into it. I personally don't. I put it this way: I had my issues with PlayStation when the PlayStation 4 when it first started. For one, I didn't think you needed a PlayStation 4 this soon. Motherfuckers don't care because new tech will always get pushed, even if the old tech is still viable. I didn't think we needed a PlayStation 4 so soon. They were doing the same shit where they were like, we got ports of old games. Now I understand they weren't all Sony made games. The majority of them were third party. But the point is, Sony put their foot in it too, and we had just came off a generation that was doing the same goddamn thing. People like to pretend like the PS3 generation didn't do the same fucking thing. Here's a collection. Here's another collection. Here's another collection. And what made it worse is that that the PS3, although had the capability of HD, a lot of those early games weren't HD. A lot of those games were like 620 something or 480 or some shit or 5 something or 500 and something. So it wasn't like anything crazy. So it's not like I didn't have my issues with PlayStation. I guess my issue is that like I don't care to keep harping on it. It's like I would say it's one of my main differences between like Juice and Tea. There's like, to me, there's no advantage to keep harping on it unless I want clicks or I want ad revenue or I just don't like being told that I'm wrong. Um, and I'm like I said, I don't feel like they're wrong for having some of these opinions. It's not like it's just that I don't care to keep that. I don't care to keep pushing that narrative. Also, for me, when it comes to the game output, I guess maybe I wasn't expecting as much as they were in terms of a lot of people are like, well, when they combine their 3DS and their Wii U teams together and they're all like in one team, people are like, I'm expecting double the output, and then Juice went ahead and made the list and everything, and I was like, I get it and I can understand it, but for me, thought that it probably would have been you, I would guess. Between our group, it probably would have been you, clocked it. That would have been my guess. But I don't think people have been like going at you like that. I think they've been primarily going at the T and Juice. That's why, like, T and Juice are the main ones I see get into that argument the most. Whereas you, I can see it, but it's not like, I don't think it's on the same level. That's all I'm saying. I think my issue was more so that like I don't care to keep harping on it, I guess. And like I said, I don't think I expected as much out of that merger. Like I expected a better output of games, and I think we got it. Whether you like the games that they've been putting out is a different story, but no, what I'm saying, Juice, when I say we're not expecting the same output, I'm saying I didn't expect the same output as you did. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like what you thought it would be and what I thought it would be are two different things because I haven't really had an issue with the amount of games we've gotten. That's what I'm saying. Um, I don't really care. Like I said, I don't really care that you have these opinions. It's more so that I just didn't. I just didn't care enough. I don't. For one, I don't think it's as big of a deal uh, as you do. Not to say that you're wrong for feeling that way, just saying that I just don't have the same level of concern about it. Um, the other issue, as far as the game output is concerned, I thought it was fine. I mean, realistically, the Wii U's problems, and the other issue is that I hate how the no, I expected less. No, that's a misinterpretation. I just didn't expect as much as you. Not less than what we currently got. I don't really have an issue with the game output currently, yo. You guys do. I don't really have that much of an issue. Particularly because I'm still playing games from last year. It's not even a back catalog. It's just they put out a lot of content. I didn't go like I want to just put this in the context. On the Wii U, I had fucking months at a time where if I didn't like realistic, and that was the argument a lot of people had against the Wii U, is that a lot of people who talked about how I think I've even made videos about how I was good with the Wii U, but that was also because I was playing on the 3DS. If you play with the Wii U and 3DS, then the library doesn't feel as weak, or the gaps and the droughts don't feel as bad. But if you took the 3DS out of it, then there were a lot of dead zones. The pacing was rough and the shit, and it was bad. Like if you took out the 3DS games I was playing, it was fucking ridiculous. Like the people on the Wii U, it came to certain. I remember when I first bought it. I bought it in 20. I bought it in the middle of 2013 and didn't have anything to play for like 3 months. I think the first game was either Pikmin or Rayman. I forget which. I think it was Pikmin. Pikmin came out in August, I believe. 2013 didn't have any real games unless you played Lego City. Like the Wii U and 3DS together, it was an okay grouping of games. But if you took out the 3DS, the Wii U's library hurt, yo. And the kicker is that, and people gotta understand that the Wii U's library banked on every game being good. Like you had to be interested in every game. I didn't have any problems with the Wii U gamepad. I don't have any issue with the Wii U gamepad. I think it was cool and I think it was innovative. Not to expect that from the Switch. Yeah, but I don't feel the same droughts that you feel, Juice. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel the same droughts as you do with the Switch. You feel those droughts, but I'm pretty content personally. Having more games, although it's a cool thing, it also I think that was the same issue with the 3DS had. Where the 3DS, certain franchises you just got burnt out on. It's the same issue that happened with Mario a while back, where people just kind of got burnt out with that IP because you kept seeing different types of Mario games. It's not like they were all in the same series. It's not like you got all 3 Marios and shit. But like between the racing and the sports and the platformers and the 2D platformers and all these other fucking spin-offs and then sequels to those spin-offs or sequels to those games, it was like, holy shit. There's so much. It was so much of Mario. Some people were just like, fuck it, dude. I'm tired. Some people were legitimately just like, I'm good with Mario. And I think that happened with Fire Emblem on 3DS. I think that happened with Kirby, where you were just getting game after game. People don't understand. Fire Emblem went through a period where, if you count the American and Japanese releases of games, Fire Emblem Awakening came out in 2012, and Fire Emblem Awakening came out in 2013 in the States. Then you got Fates like a year and a half later, and then you got Echoes like a year after that, and then you got Tokyo Mirage Sessions if you were following that. And then like a few years later, you got fucking luckily they spaced out, and then there was and supposedly Three Houses was supposed to come out like in 2018. You were getting Fire Emblem games like fucking nuts. And it's the same thing. Burnout. I think a lot of these IPs need spacing. It's the same issue that I've repeatedly talked about with the Pokemon franchise. Do not put out games every year because it burns people out. The games gap between November to March is pretty much what the Wii U did. No, because you have your issues with the ports, but the ports still count. Unlike the Wii U that didn't get shit. The Wii U didn't get ports. The Wii U didn't even get like third-party games. It was like a gap between. There's a difference between you not liking any games coming out and there being no games to come out. I can go for the fuck of it between November and also with the influx of games, it's not the same thing. Like realistically, you shouldn't have a game come out every goddamn month in like that's like saying I would like to have a Breath of the Wild or an Odyssey or a Mario Kart come out like every other month, like every month. Like I don't need all that, yo. Personally, I don't. And then we had games that were ongoing, like fucking Smash that never stopped. Splatoon was ongoing for what? 2 years? 2 years Splatoon was ongoing. Came out with DLC. A lot of these games are still getting DLC. Hell, the Fire Emblem DLC came out, what, like a month ago? Like, some of these games are so ongoing that I don't really have an issue with gaps. Because there were things still coming out. But with the Wii U, it was literally nothing was out. Nothing was coming out. I blame EA for third party for being petty with it. Well, see, and here's the other thing. And here's the other thing about that. I also didn't expect a lot from third party in the sense that just like I had, and I've said this before, you can go back and quote me. My same issue with Xbox about having them, to me, earn my trust with their first party titles in the third party games they do get, not ending up on other consoles. Nintendo was going to have to do the same thing with third parties. You can have your issues with the ports, and you can say the ports don't count because they're ports of old games. But they're still games people are buying. It'd be a different story if these were games that weren't selling at all. All of these games, or a good chunk of these games, are still selling and people are wanting to buy them. And I don't expect a lot of the big titles, partially because Nintendo has to go back and reprove to the third parties that it's financially viable to put that kind of money and investment into a Nintendo system. Part of the reason why is the Switch is a good mixture of what I would consider the Wii and the Wii U, where it's traditional, but it has its gimmick, but its gimmick doesn't get in the way of you playing the games. So you can play Devil May Cry and Saints Row and Dark Souls and Cuphead and Ori. You can put these things on there. Honestly, I'm only buying 6 to 8 games a year max, and I haven't felt any type of gap because I'm still working on 2019. Now, if you play everything as it comes out, you got more time than me. And see, that's the other thing. And then there's just a difference of the games you're playing. Like, think about it. For someone like me, and for like some of you guys who like JRPGs, things like Dragon Quest, things like Fire Emblem, I'm trying to think. And then you had never-ending games like Mario Maker, which also got a fucking update. What was that, in December? November, December, Super Mario Maker 2 got an update. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was getting DLC. There's so much shit. There's so many things either getting updates or expansions and shit. I don't understand how you, on top of just having a lot of games in certain months. Like, the fucking November to March thing just doesn't, I don't really view it in the same tier as the Wii U situation. Because the Wii U was getting nothing. It wasn't like the gap between, like, hell, even between I want to say the last third party game of note, I want to say, was like Injustice. I want to say was one. And when Injustice came out of like April or so, it was like February to April of 2013 until like August or September. there was literally nothing to play. There was nothing to play. I'm trying to make sure because Lego City was early that year too. It was March. Was pretty steady from Nintendo indies and third-party games on Wii U. From fall 13 to spring 2016 was pretty steady from Nintendo indies and third-party games on Wii U. Wii U had Splatoon, Mario Maker, and Smash, which two of those came out in 2015, and one of them came out at the end of 2014. Um, those are the game. Those were the ongoing games, and realistically, all they've done is just carried that method into Switch. Switch. I'm just saying, I don't. It's not to me. Fall 2013, 2014. You had Mario Kart came out in like April or May, and then that carried you all the way up into the fall. Because I don't think anything else at the Mario Kart until like Bayonetta and what am I missing? I think it was Bayonetta was 2014, and so was Smash. And then obviously, and then Pokemon. And then Pokemon's actually, that was another example I didn't even get into. Pokemon's another one with the raids, the changing of the G Max Pokemon, and then the DLC. I just don't look at it in the same way. This is just to me, Nintendo found a style that worked during the Wii U era, and they're using that style. So they're not pushing these high end games. Hell, Kirby was up. Kirby, Mario Tennis were all updated for like a year after they came out. So I just don't personally equate it to the same thing. Now, so are we counting new to you games or just never released? Honestly, this whole situation. Well, that's true. At the end, that's part of the reason why I didn't care to keep having the conversation because there's only so much. There's only so much. And no, it's not that I'm judging the Wii U output. It's not like I denied that 2013 to 2016 had games in it. I was recalling to make sure, but that's like I said, the Wii U ended up adopting a policy that the Switches continue. Games like Splatoon and Mario Maker, and what was the other game? And Smash all maintain that. They all had DLC. The problem was it was just only 3 games back then. I'm trying to think of another ongoing game. Mario Kart, technically, because they got the DLC later. So 4 games. 4 games were the main pushes of this idea in the Wii U era. Unless I'm missing one, but I think it was those 4. Because Xenoblade Chronicles didn't get it. No, Xenoblade Chronicles X didn't get any extensions, and then they were adding on to the Virtual Console. It wasn't like the Wii U era was terrible, but I'm just making a point that there were droughts and that people were still. Well, no, I agree. Yeah, ARMS was ongoing for almost a year after it came out too. Nintendo has just doing it with every game, almost every of their main games. There's only a few games that are just one and done. Yeah, Pokemon DX, Pokken DX. Also, Pokken wasn't a 2015; it was a 2016 game. The arcade version of Pokken came out in 2015, but the console version didn't come out until 2016, which and then they released the DX version, and then they put out DLC for the DX version. So in the next generation, there'll probably be another DX situation. I'm just saying, the core of my whole point is that I just don't feel the same way as you guys about that release. Fuck all what came out. What I'm saying is that for me as a gamer, and for me as someone who enjoys video games and the Switch, I don't have the same opinion when it comes to the release of Nintendo content. Um, at least in terms of saying we got droughts. That's just my opinion. Yeah. And see, and like this, and this is coming from people who like gaming is their main hobby. Like realistically, who the fuck has this kind of money? So that's my opinion on it. But I don't wanna keep this whole thing on it. And you guys have been posting questions in the Discord anyway. The mystery dungeon, I know Juice got onto that yesterday with his Juice opinions. I agree it probably shouldn't be 60. Also, I also agree that I wish I don't I feel like the exaggeration that this is the worst Nintendo's gotten gritty with their money argument's kind of unfair because they actually did put work into making that game. Like that game does have quality of life changes in it. That game is in 3D models. It uses actually the cutscenes to look beautiful. Cutscenes look gorgeous in that motherfucker now. I can't call that like what people would consider the laziest, like a really lazy port. But I do agree it probably shouldn't be 60. But see, at the same time, that's subjective because that game has hundreds of hours of gameplay. Now, whether or not you care to play it is, subjective. But yeah, like, bro, it's so much. That game is like hundreds of hours. And I don't even care about Mystery Dungeon. So this isn't even like a bias. Like, I legit do not give a shit about Mystery Dungeon. That's we're gonna go off of that because there's so much. Yeah, we had the Mega Man ZX collection come out recently. It's out there been games. I'm just saying. I don't think it's the same tier as the Wii U. I think it's been better than the Wii U personally because we got more consistently quality games, uh, and I didn't have to go back and rely on the 3DS. Like the difference is that I'm enjoying the Switch's output without the 3DS. Whereas I couldn't necessarily say the same thing about Wii U if I didn't have the 3DS. It's a lower. No, I'm not saying it's not a lower budget game. I'm just saying like realistically, I'm not as harsh on it as you are. That's literally what it is, Juice. We're gonna move on from that because we do need to talk about E3, and I'm already like almost 30 minutes into this. All right, so real quick, I have to drink my tea because I like tea. And I got fucking condensation all over my shirt. Well, I thought I did. Apparently, it's just water. The Wii U, there was nothing to buy. The Switches, there's nothing I personally want to buy. Actually, I think that's probably what it is. But that's besides the point. So I'm gonna answer a couple questions, and then I'm gonna go right into the E3 stuff. Um, should Platinum Games develop Capcom games? Yes. That's like a simple one. I shouldn't even have to explain why. Although, to be fair, I'll give Capcom credit because Devil May Cry 5 was considered to be a really good game, and people thought, oh, it's not Platinum, it's not going to be good. Give Capcom more credit than give them credit. They've definitely improved, especially in these last few years. So I wouldn't mind seeing Platinum put their hand in Capcom games, but I think they're still good developers over there at Capcom. So that one's give them more credit than you would think. Are you planning on moving out? Yeah. Ironically enough, it might end up being sooner more than later. I would rather wait until I paid off a few things, but depending on how life is, things might change. So where the hell was that one? So I do eventually plan to move out. It just might happen quicker than I care it. Than I would rather it do, but we'll see. What was I missed? Nintendo used to price games lower. If a game was a lower budget game, so I'm just judging them on what they've done in the past. Like I said, I can understand that argument completely because they did used to do things for budget. I guess the only last thing about that I'll say is that Nintendo unfortunately got into a position where even when they were doing the right things, it didn't seem to fucking matter. And Sony to me proved Xbox to me. Actually, I'll say that Xbox to me proved that people don't really give a fuck about that. People don't give a fuck about whether or not it's the right thing. It's a bonus if it's the right thing, but no one cares. To give an example, is that the Wii U in a lot of ways was like the Wii U and the Wii were both like really consumer friendly. The fact that it was backwards compatible, you could use the previous system's controllers on it. Hell, in the Wii, it had slots for GameCube memory cards. It's fucking ridiculous. In the Wii U, it was the same thing. You could essentially have a Wii in your Wii U or a GameCube in your Wii, and things were priced appropriately, and we got these cool budget games. People don't give a fuck about that. Realistically, it has been proven time and time again, people will spend money on a product that may not have the same features as its predecessor because of because of some arbitrary thing that people will go back and buy. Like, and that's the unfortunate reality. Is it disappointing that their remake is $60? But as the consumer, you know what you get to do? You get to not buy it. Can you be? I'm not taking away your ability to be disappointed by it. Also, what's up, Laker Link? I don't know if I say hey to you. We can talk about the Black Clover chapter later. Actually, if you go on my anime channel, I kind of talked about it to a degree, and you'll hear part of that. So, anime channel has a video up for that. Fighting games is like the only genre Capcom hasn't really proven themselves, but I would say the other games I'm okay with. So personally, yeah, you can transfer your data from the Wii and Wii U. People talked about these pros and no one gave a fuck. The reality is that, like, it has been proven that just because you have cool features in your console, no one gives a fuck if the bottom line, which for most games, for most consoles, it's games, no one gives a fuck about that. There were things in 2017 the PS4 couldn't do that the PS3 could do, like external hard drive support. That wasn't a feature that was kicked in until like 3 years into the system's lifespan, and that's what most people would consider like a pretty basic feature, considering you have USB ports on the fucking system. Why couldn't I plug in an external hard drive, Sony? But no one gives a fuck about those extra features. The only reason why the fucking backwards compatibility argument came back up for some reason is because Xbox did it. But it was weird. No one gave a fuck when the Wii U was doing it. Since it launched, no one gave a fuck. But all of a sudden, backwards compatibility now is this huge issue. But you didn't give a fuck, like, what was that? I don't know. I don't remember the year specifically they did backwards compatibility. But we'll say a gap of 1 or 2 years. No one gave a fuck about that. No one gave a single fuck about the fact that the Wii U could do something like that. No, nah. See, and that's the point I'm making. People will still buy the PS4 is the most popular console, even though you could argue the Xbox has the most features, because no one gives a fuck about those features if the core component of your console isn't there, which in this case would be the motherfucking games. That's why the Switch's ports are selling at $60. We know why they're selling. Fucking Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on the Switch that was $10 more than the Wii U version has sold over a million already. 1-2 Switch is sold, what, two going on 3 million. And these are all bullshit ass games. I mean, and 1-2 Switch is a bullshit ass game. No one gives a fuck about the features. No one gives a fuck about the online, apparently. The 360 proved that to me, that no one gave a fuck about the fact that their console had a 50% chance of breaking down on you. It's fucking, no one gives a fuck about these features unless you're talking in these inner circles, because the common consumer is like, fuck it, does it have Mario Odyssey on it? Does it have Breath of the Wild on it? Does it have Splatoon 2 on it? Does it have Bloodborne on it? Does it have The Last of Us 2 on it? Does it have Uncharted 4 on it? Does it have God of War on it? They don't give a fuck about these extra features. It's a bonus, but it won't stop a person from buying the system. Dead ass. That's part of the reason why. Yeah, now. But that's the point I'm making. That like people don't give a that like with the whole backwards compatibility and that kind of shit. No one cares. It's a cool argument for fanboy wars, but no one really gives a shit. The common consumer, which is the majority of gamers buying these things, don't give a shit at all. You know what's even worse? I bet you if we could look up online percentages of how many people beat these games, bruh, Odyssey probably has like a 60% rate. Everyone who bought Odyssey, there's probably like 40% of people who didn't finish it. Same thing for Last of Us, same thing for God of War, same thing for Breath of the Wild, same thing for Splatoon. Well, actually, Splatoon's not a good example because it's multiplayer. I'm trying to think of a single player game. Fire Emblem, same thing. It's the same goddamn thing. Yeah, I would say 1-2 Switch is the most egregious Switch game. Mystery Dungeon, I think, is nowhere near that bad. It had more effort put into it. So yeah, that's my whole argument with that. That I understand people's frustrations and issues with the lack of features, but I'm also the kind of guy who doesn't give a fuck about folders. I don't really give a fuck about messaging because the PlayStation 4 has messaging. But how do I message Juice online? It ain't through the fucking PlayStation 4. I can do it, and and we used to send pictures occasionally, but like nothing stopping him, and he's done it before, is putting those same photos he takes in Gravity Rush 2 or in Resident Evil or in Control. You know where he puts them? He can put them on Twitter or he'll put them in the Hangout. There's like that shit doesn't mean much to me. I know some people care about the Netflix and the YouTube and that kind of shit. I personally don't. So that's why I don't freak out as much about it. Let me see. We'll see. We'll see what happens next gen. That's all I'm gonna say with that. And yet T brings up how shield tubers are taking down Nintendo fans, are talking down Nintendo fans and inside cats, and insert name of Nintendo on here. Wait, I feel like I missed part of your comment, Grunt. I think I saw something here. Let's see. I feel like I missed part of your. Hmm. Oh, okay, that's what you meant. All right, cool. Why do Sony fans talk about The Last of Us sales like 18 million combined from two systems with a combined number of 180 million sold? Because math is hard, yo. What's up, Prince Revolver? Let's get to more questions. Soros and questions. Did you buy your toilet paper? Did I buy my? Oh, what's up, November? We'll see you in a few months. Uh, did I buy my toilet paper? And here's the. You know what? Fuck it. Did I buy my toilet paper? Mm. Hell no! I didn't buy no motherfucking toilet paper. I don't need no goddamn toilet paper. I'm Gucci. I am Gucci. I got my toilet paper. And you get Scott's because Scott's is comfortable. Don't get none of that hard shit. Fuck no. Yeah, I got my toilet paper. I got my motherfucking toilet paper. Let me go put the toilet paper back. Also, I do this because I share a house with two women. That's the main reason why I have this much toilet paper. Mm. Ugh. God damn. Moving forward. Scott's is quality. That's what you do. Uh, hell no. As a man, you like things soft and squishy. I'm gonna stop. I'm being stupid. Do you think people are overacting by this virus or by canceling or pushing things back? To a degree. I mean, realistically, the coronavirus is not is gonna have to go through the country anyway. So being prepared for it is one thing, but I don't know if I would call it like this as crazy as it doesn't seem as insane as it is people like most of the people who are dying from it are older people who don't take care of themselves anyway. Um so I don't think it's as ridiculous. Like if we were saying people of all ages die from in completely different various like physical healths, it'd be a different story. But I think realistically, we might be blowing this a little bit out of proportion. But hey, if you get out of school and work, don't fucking question it. That's all I'm gonna say. Which actually works to talk about the coronavirus, because now I can transition into the E3 situation. So E3 is well, I hope you get better in November. In November, it's like I got the coronavirus and I'm Gucci. Brr. Oh Lord. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey man, don't question it if it works out. Oh Jesus. But anyways, so let's talk about the E3 coronavirus thing. And it's not just E3, it's like everything. So here's the thing. If you've seen my various reactions and opinions, and it's not just me, but even like uh have you seen any what was I gonna say? Oh, have you seen any of my reactions to the previous E3 conferences and like the Juices Loose reactions? Most of us would tell you E3 hasn't been great for the last few years. You get a few standouts, and but that's about it. Most of E3 is not incredibly interesting. The best thing about E3 for me is Nintendo, and primarily due to the fact that we get that treehouse that lasts 3 days. That's like my favorite part of E3. The only reason why it kind of sucks that E3, uh, the only thing that kind of sucks about not getting E3 anymore is the fact that E3 was an easy way to get a bunch of developers and industry people together. So, like things like a Treehouse event is easier to do when you already got them there promoting their games on other consoles and systems, or just showing off their game for the first time. It's easier to do Treehouse stuff when Ubisoft is already there talking about Assassin's Creed or fucking or the Division or whatever, to then talk about maybe their new Rayman game on Switch. It's not like there are what was I gonna say? There are advantages in that sense. That just means your girl gets to spend more time with you, bro. Doing it big with the corona. Just don't get too fucked up. That's the whole point. Um the E3 already kind of was losing its relevancy. In the digital age, it was losing its relevancy, and there was nothing really they could do about it, especially when companies became more and more aware of we don't fucking need you. Like losing E3 as a Nintendo fan means almost absolutely nothing to me, other than like I said before, the fact that we won't see as many developer interviews during Treehouse stuff. That's like the only thing. But realistically, since a lot of these developers are in Japan anyway, it just be like, bro, hey, can you come to Nintendo of Japan and we pre-record this thing and then put it online? They can still do this stuff if they wanted to. They can still shoot it live. So like I as a Nintendo fan, I'm not losing a goddamn thing. Hell, Nintendo, it's always like you get a direct an E3, but then like you'll get another direct and like think about it. We had the E3 direct last year in June, and then we got one like 3 months later in September. like E3 means nothing. Sony wasn't going to be there anyway, so we didn't lose anything on that front. And Microsoft is Microsoft. Microsoft's E3s have not been overly interesting. Like, I can respect them for their consistency, but Microsoft has Inside Xbox and Sony has State of Play. And considering this coronavirus is stopping production, I'd be curious if we're even getting new consoles this year. And Xbox fucking needs it because, you know, what's coming out on Xbox? Well, they just got Ori, but considering some of the issues with Ori on Xbox, oh, Jesus. E3 Directs always seemed they do seem special because of the guise of E3, but it doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm not losing much. If anything, that just means I'll take off Tuesday, my birthday. Tuesday is June 16th. My birthday is June 16th. I'll take that day off, and then I'm working the rest of the year, so we're Gucci. So yeah, like we're not losing anything. Ubisoft downright angered me last year. Squares was Final Fantasy VII and nothing else, with like cool little teases and surprises here and there. And then the rest, EA's wasn't even like a fucking show. It was consecutive live streams. So I don't give a fuck about that one either. We're not losing much. It might get pushed. It depends on how quickly this coronavirus finishes. But from what I've been hearing in Asia, it's almost ran its course. So I would say if it does get pushed back, it'll get pushed back until spring. Which is fine, because then they can take the Nintendo approach and release it in March or some shit. But like I said, I'm not sweating it personally. Personally, I'm not sweating it. So yeah, E3's change does nothing. It's not like a huge deal for me, is the point I'm saying. I'm gonna go answer some more questions on Discord. So I can delete the E3 thing. But it does not surprise me if E3 eventually became less and less relevant. Like next year, it's probably gonna be like an all digital thing anyway. In which case, Like the thing is, most people don't get to go to E3 anyway. And nowadays would be the worst time to go to E3. Like back in like the early 2000s when like information was hard to get a hold of, it was a bigger deal. Now, not so much. Do I want what do I want a 2D Sonic fighting game? The last fighting game we got with Sonic was Sonic the Fighters and then Smash, or like the only two games he's been in that qualify as fighters. It depends on how it's done. I don't who's developing it. Sega doesn't have any fighting games they've developed to make me think that. Yeah, 2 months sounds about right. I don't need a Sonic fighting game. I'm curious what they're going to do with Sonic in general, because he's been pretty quiet since Forces, which was going on 3 years ago. Sonic Forces came out in 2017, right? I think Sonic Forces came out in 2017, so it's been almost 3 years. So, oh yeah, Sonic Battle is a game. I own it. I own Sonic Battle, and I enjoyed it, and I played it. It was fun for what it was, but ah, eh, ah. uh, I'm not crazy about it. I'll say that. I enjoy it more for the Emerald stuff than anything else. Have I fully embraced PC gaming yet? No, because I own a Switch and a PlayStation 4. That's part of the reason why I can't embrace PC gaming. I still have consoles that have games I want to play on there. PC also PC is still my least played of those three. Between PS4, Switch, and PC, PC is still my least played. So I've dabbled in it more and more, but I haven't fully embraced it. Do not remaster Sonic Boom. I am curious what they're going to do with Sonic, though, this year. So I'll delete that, and then I'll delete the 2D Sonic game, fighting game. What are your thoughts on Arc System Works? What are your thoughts on Arc System Works? Pretty making games in high quality like Kill la Kill, Blast Blue, DBZ, DBFZ, and Grand Fu about making pretty anime games. I mean, they look great. The only ones I really played was fucking fighters, so it's hard for me to have really I I like it for what it is. I mean, I like their games for what it is. It's just I haven't played a lot. Dude, you know what my problem with getting Sonic Heroes? I didn't have to buy a GameCube and then buy the game and hook the bitch up. And I don't know how long I'm going to be out, so we'll see. I know I'm at least going to work until Wednesday at the very least. So we'll see, but I'm not banking on being out for like 2 weeks and no shit. Knowing our luck. So we'll see what happens. I don't know when I go to work tomorrow how this week is looking, but like right now, I'm only out. I have to go to work until Wednesday, so we'll see. What else? Oh, the real Don Coriano, which I love that. I love that reference. If it's the One Piece reference, I think it is, and I'm cool with it. Which I think it is, considering he's asking a One Piece question. Do you like the Odin flashback? The Odin flashback, I think in total, I think I'm good with. It feels longer than it actually is. I'm perfectly fine with it. I think people didn't like the end of it. I think. Oh, by the way, this week's chapter of One Piece, I was like, yo, yo, that's good, Oda. I fucking saw the end of this week's chapter because it came out on the English translation today, and I was like, oh my goodness. That's a good one. Oda hasn't really got me in a while. That was a good one. That's all I'll say about the recent chapter. That was a good one. Dead ass. Let me get Sora-san's last question. Let's see. I saw a post on Twitter of someone comparing The Last of Us 2 and Animal Crossing New Horizons in terms of graphics and gameplay. What are your thoughts on this illogical comparison and your thoughts of people wanting to start a war between Sony and Nintendo fans again? The war between Sony and Nintendo fans have always been going on. It always will go on. I don't know why you comparing those two because they're two completely different kinds of games. Like Animal Crossing, they're not even on the same level because of the style of game they are. Also, I think Animal Crossing probably would sell more, but that's a whole nother issue. Last of Us 2. Also, you're comparing two games that haven't come out yet, and one that's about to come out in less than. Animal Crossing comes out in like 5 days. It comes out what, this Friday? Yeah, it comes out this Friday. Wait until Last of Us 2 are out. I don't understand. I don't want to talk about My Hero anything. I want to talk about My Hero Young Justice, what I mean to say. I mean one Justice too. I heard the Switch version is not stable, which is sad but not surprising. Uh, of why Nintendo had to crunch to get it done. If anyone has the tweet, by the way, if you could send me a link to the tweet, that would be appreciated. But they were comparing Animal Crossing and Last of Us from the context of why Nintendo had to crunch to get it done. What? I have not seen Heroes Rising. I'm not overly interested in it, but I do know the spoiler for the end of that movie. What? What comparison are you making? I guess like why because they delayed the game because they delayed. Is that the reason? Because they delayed the game to finish it properly. What's the problem? Last of Us has been in development for what, 3 years? He meant Naughty Dog. Well, I've already heard rumors about Naughty Dog not being managed properly. So, oh, you meant Naughty Dog. Oh, okay. I see. I see what you meant. Okay. What's up? 12 feet tall. Um, I'm so. I need to see the tweet. I feel like I'm not gonna get it completely. But in terms of, I thought Nintendo gave Animal Crossing devs a break from AC and crunching. I don't know. I think it was Naughty Dog. I think Lightning's right. He was talking about Naughty Dog. I did hear about that. I did hear about the Naughty Dog stuff. But I mean, is that just them shitting on Naughty Dog though? What's up, Exami X Anime? What's up, Nano Star? I'm not sweating it right now. I think a lot of people are coming to the conclusion they just wanted to let Animal Crossing have its time, which is fine. Animal Crossing has kind of earned its place in terms of a higher echelon Nintendo IP, but still. But I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't surprise me if they're being mismanaged. It's just it's. I think they're doing the comparison because Nintendo. Oh, I get it. It was on some fanboy defense shit. Who gives a fuck? That just means if not. That just means if Last of Us 2 is bad, you know why. Like as a consumer, there's not too much you can really do about it. Although, oh, that's what I should have talked about. Sony fans losing their minds over over Horizon getting ported to PC, which I mean, I own the game on PS4. The reason why it's not that Nintendo doesn't have to crunch is that Nintendo just doesn't make their developers crunch. That's literally the only difference. It's not that Nintendo doesn't have situations where they have to crunch time down. I would argue Zelda's kind of an example of them crunching to a degree. Um, but Nintendo just doesn't make them crunch. Animal Crossing, they were like, and I think it's also because they knew what Animal Crossing was going to be. The fact that Animal Crossing was going to be their heavy hitting title for this year, they were like, we'd rather it be good. Don't come in here. Yeah, in a little bit. Like 15 minutes. I guess I'm going to Captain D's for dinner. Oh, it's fine if you ain't got a social life. Everyone's going to be bedridden anyway, thanks to the coronavirus. Ugh. Wait, what? People were saying the crunch was good because look how Animal Crossing graphics look compared to Last of Us. What? 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 That's crazy. So crunch time for a game is good because Animal Crossing looks lesser compared to The Last of Us. Even though they're not even going for the same fucking style. They're not even going to the same fucking design. This is dumb. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. All right. Sony fans have lost their fucking minds over Horizon because apparently when a game gets ported from their you know what makes it funnier to me though? If Sony comes out the gate on some Xbox shit where they're like, our games are going to PC and then we might port our games to Xbox One, bruh, Sony needs to fucking sit their asses down or finance their shit better. I think right now the gaming division is still their most I think is the only one that makes sense. I mean, makes money. Well, actually, sense still works because they make sense, but that's besides the point. It's the only department that makes money from Sony currently. Do not fuck around with that department and start fucking up your resources. Sony fans do not handle that shit well. But that's also because that just tells me Sony doesn't even own the IP. Sony doesn't even own Horizon Zero Dawn as an IP, which is dumb. Why making a new IP and not own the IP? At least Nintendo had the common sense to be like, hey, we own the IP for Astral Chain. Like they share that IP with Platinum, which is fine because that means that will never show up on PC unless Nintendo just doesn't give a fuck. Wonderful 101, I think, is in a similar vein where like they own the IP of Wonderful 101, but they gave it to Platinum. I think I don't know. I honestly want to know the history of that whole conversation. But the whole point is Nintendo was still cool enough to be like, listen, we're gonna make the Switch version easy. Nintendo was like, look, either you got to do it on your own, or we'll do it, or do it with only us. And Nintendo was still kind of like, listen, if you're gonna do it that way, 30 grand. If you can get 30 grand, that'll be enough to fund the Switch version. So they're still holding them down. The remaster was gonna happen regardless, but the fact that it kind of blew everyone's expectations is a whole other story. But yeah. So Sony owns Horizon. Hmm. If they own Horizon Zero Dawn, I guess the only reason why they would have to port it is because they just need the money. But then again, they've been doing that recently anyway, with games getting PC ports. So let me make sure. Not that I think Juice is wrong, but it never hurts to double check. Let's see. Mm, that's developed and published, supplied. It says it's Guerrilla Games intellectual property. At least that's my understanding of it. Let me see. We'll see. I'm not sure. The reason why I question is because Sony has a bad habit of not owning the IPs of certain games. Okay, so Sony is publishing it on PC then. So that was just a Sony choice. And it's weird because it made money. It made like two. I don't know where it's at now, but there are news reports saying it made like over 2 million. So it wasn't like it was a failure by any means. So I guess they just said fuck it. Or they think there's more money to be made from it, I guess. Although I imagine there will be a bunch of Tomb Raider mods for it. That's just a guess though. Let's see. Yeah, actually you're right. Because it says on the Steam page, it says um, the publisher is PlayStation Mobile. So I guess Sony is indeed chose to say, fine, we'll put it on PC. We'll see. I'm curious why though. I assume it's because there's more money to be made, but still, that's interesting. Okay. Who owns Guerrilla Games? Let's see. Let's go check. Guerrilla Games is owned by Founding Lost Boys. SIE. Oh, Sony owns them. Wait, what? Sony currently owns them, so that would make sense. Creating. Yeah, so Sony owns them, so that makes sense. Okay. All right. Sorry. That was a lot of work for something that isn't a big deal. Okay, it's fine. All right, we're good. So it's at 10 million, so I'm curious. Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe they're testing the waters. It just seems interesting. But at least it's not Sony losing an IP. Like what happened with fucking Crash and Spyro, which, so, we're good. So I can get rid of that question. I don't want to really talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to that extent, not now. So I'll save that one for later. And the last one, it says, do you know the way? Do I know the way? Do I know the way? I think I know the way. I'm stupid. I have not watched Castlevania. I haven't watched any of that series, so I need to watch that. So I think that's all that we're going to do for today when it comes to when it comes to this episode of Manic episode. We got a lot covered. E3, Nintendo, Horizon Zero Dawn, all that fun shit. And a little bit of One Piece stuff mentioned in there. One Piece and Black Clover. So yeah. So what I'm about to do is apparently I'm about to go get Captain D's from my mom because my mom doesn't want to cook, which is fine. And then I'm gonna go watch Pokemon and do that episode review. Well, that kind of goes into the whole thought process that like this generation, they're spending way too much on these games. They're spending way too much on these games. Cause like for most game series, you'd be like, damn, 2 million for a game, that's great. But if you're spending that much on them bitches, and so you might be right, Juice. They're just spending too much on these fucking games. Way too much on these fucking games. Tomb Raider went through the same shit. I'd be curious if Square Enix is gonna fund that at all. What is my favorite? What is your favorite superpower? Super speed. Super speed is my favorite superpower, lazy one. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. I had up to 25 people in here, and I still have 15 over an hour later. So I'm glad you guys like the conversation and talk. These videos have been doing relatively well. I need to get with some of you guys. I want to do kind of like a podcast one. So if I put it this way, if I end up being getting off of work in the latter half of this week, I might do like a couple of videos with you guys, or at least a multiplayer focused gaming session with you guys on the Discord. So join the Discord if you haven't joined the Discord, because we need to do more group events. We're also going to do a waifu session. That's definitely happening. We're going to have a session that's literally just dedicated to tiers and waifus. And I'll talk about it on Discord as I get like my off days scheduled out. Thanks for the support. Thanks for Juice and Clocked It being in there. Check out tomorrow on the Terminator Juice channel for another episode of The Juice is Loose. Check out Clocked It's channel for quality content and dedicated Nintendo conversation. Follow the Discord and the Twitter. And with all that being said, life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace. Yo. Woo. My throat hurts now. Ow. Discord. Look in the description.